Hey, welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 25, you guys, of the racing season finds us smack dab in the middle of a heat wave, and we are going where it's hottest of all, my home away from home, Santa Anita Racetrack in Arcadia, California. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We have a very ordinary pick four for you tomorrow. The pick four starts in race number 7. It's going to end in race number 10. There are no stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. It's our East Coast handicapper. He's from Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, what is the weather like for you out on the East Coast tonight?
Humid. We have 82 and it's very sticky. So we're sweating here, but it feels good because when it gets cold here, it gets cold. So I like it. Not
Yeah,
complaining.
yeah, we don't complain much about the cold out here on the West Coast, and
No.
I'm sure our West Coast handicapper is not going to do that either. It is Joe English, and he's joining us from his home in Temecula, California. Joe, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing well, Rich. Just keep thinking. Saratoga is not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little lead in right there. As a matter of
There
fact,
you
I
go.
I didn't even give this one to you guys, but we are just a couple of weeks away from Saratoga, a couple of weeks away from Del Mar. Which one do you guys prefer? Go ahead, Ray. Give me your favorite summer track.
My favorite soundtrack definitely Saratoga. I mean, steak race every day. It's become like a pattern. When they come and it's like it's really nice. I mean, the 2 year olds developed, all the horses are there, the turf racing, but the only thing is you get those rainy days and off the turfers, and could become a mess. But I still love Saratoga. It's only 3.5 hours from the house, and I try to get up there a few times. So.
Me and Joe talk about it every year. That's one of our bucket list tracks to get up there together, and all of us go together. But Joe, over to you. Which one do you prefer? Do you like Saratoga or do you like Del Mar?
I'll give the 50-50 answer. The scenery is better at Del Mar. The racing is
Yeah.
better at Saratoga. I don't know that anybody can really say anything otherwise.
Yeah. You're
But
right.
I mean, just the quality of racing at Saratoga and the competitiveness just seems to be off the charts. But again, the scenery at Del Mar you can't beat.
Yeah, the scenery. All right. Last week was Churchill Downs in Kentucky. We did not hit our pick four, and thus we start off the second half of our year, and we are 0 for 2. But I will share for you, for those of us who watched last week, I did manage to score my individual pick four ticket, and I wanted to extend congratulations to my friend Ray, who did me one better. He took down the all stakes pick 5 under Twin Spires last week. Congratulations, Ray.
Thanks, man. Thank you, McCracken.
All right. Time for a brief weather update from Arcadia, California. The forecast for Saturday calls for, well, heat. It's a high of around 91 degrees. There's no wind, and there is no chance of rain. None. A total of 10 races. There are 2 stakes on tap for Saturday. Unfortunately, they are not in our pick 4. For today, we are focused on the pick 4 that begins in race number 7. It concludes in race number 10. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's go.
Go.
Racing.
Approximate post time is 7 p.m. Eastern time. Race number 7 is 5 furlongs on the main track. Maiden claiming $20,000. The purse is $18,000 for maiden, 3-year-olds and upward. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite at 7-2 is in post number 8, and it's Sunset Grill, one of my favorite songs by Don Henley, trained by Scott Hansen and ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. I don't know what Tim Ritvo is doing, but the new executive at Santa Anita is doing something right if we're getting 11 starters and a 7-2 morning line favorite in a maiden claiming 20,000 race. So, Ray, last week you had some classy ladies and boys from the green grass of Kentucky. This week you get maiden 20 claimers on the hot brown California dirt. Who do you like in the opener?
All right, this is the bottom of the barrel, but you know what? These horses try their best, and it's racing, and the goal is to handicap and see how these horses do and how they begin their careers. But in this race, I have just a small opinion on a few horses here. I did like number 7, Cow Little Gauchus.
You got to be able to pronounce it if you're going to bet it.
Right? Yeah.
No, you don't. I'm not Michael Rona. I don't have to pronounce it.
I don't think Michael Rhoda can pronounce this one either. I've heard him.
Oh man, Gouches. Oh, okay. Yeah, this horse shows speed at 50,000 for a few races, and drops a ton here to 20,000. Picks up Maldonado, a good gate rider, so he should get this house out. He can hold down the field here first time for John Bucklebook, Bucklebank, who's a good percentage trainer, 20% this year. And Maldonado gets the call, so I'm gonna go with this horse on top. Try and wide the field. These horses, usually they don't pass each other, so that's my philosophy. I think I learned that from Rich about that. They hardly pass each other. So I do also like number 9, Bloodletting, 6-1. Show brief speed also for 2 calls before you call it a day at 9-2. Should benefit from that race. John Sadler, 24% in main claiming, and there's a check mark, so I'm glad we're in agreement here. Kyle Frey keeps the mount with the Maida jocks, probably in England. I guess they're for the Ascot meet. And I see some good 4 and 5 furlong workouts. So I think this horse should improve, and in this these races, the you have to attribute the tracks doing their big stake races all in one day, so you're gonna get cars like this. But they're very competitive and they're handicapped, and you can really handicap them well, so you can get some good prices. So that's why I would go with 7 and 9 in the first leg of the I'll pick 4. Joe, what do you think about this maiden claiming?
Before I get to that, what Tim Ritvo did was they decided to cancel all the Thursday cards. So that's probably part of the reason for the better cards. They're running more races on Saturdays and Sundays. They're going to the 3-day week schedule, sort of like Monmouth has and other places have done.
Yeah.
So that's why the cards are better and more filled on Saturdays. They're just one less day of racing per week. Ray, I went 4 deep on my personal pick 4, but as far as what we're going to talk about for the show, the top 2 are the same horses. Exactly the same horses in the same order. Cal, and again, just number 7. Okay, you don't have to. Like I said, you don't really have to pronounce it. And when I'm at a Sam machine, it doesn't. I don't have to say the name. It's the 7. I like the fact that the horse switches John Brocklebank from Jerry Wallace, who was 1 for 20 before. So obviously this switch is a good change. And Brocklebank's 5 for 13 with maiden claimers over the last year. The only thing about it is that most of them are well bet. So if the board's going to tell me a lot whether this horse is really dead or alive. I like Maldonado as a gate jockey. He gets on. I just think he's probably going to be the speed of the speed. And the fact that this is a 5 furlong race, you're going to see a lot of horses doing the quarter horse, a lot of jockeys doing the quarter horse thing. The 1 might show speed. The 3 comes from a filly who won her debut by 4 lengths in a maiden 32. The 5 showed a little speed last time out. You're going to see, it seems the 8, the favorite, has shown speed. The 9 is a speed horse. So you're going to see a lot of that. And like you said, Ray, I don't know that there's really much of a chance that anybody's going to pass anybody. So I think the 2 logical speed horses, the 7 and the 9, are the top 2 choices for me. And I don't really need to add much more than what you said. Like I said, other than the stat about Brocklebank and the fact that I like Maldonado as a gate rider. So 7 and 9 on top for me, and I'll mention the other 2 horses that I went in my pick 4 when we do our personal pick 4 segment later in the show. So I'll hand it off to Rich. Rich, Bloodletting is your check mark. Anything you can add that we haven't talked about for the 9?
No. My personal notes down here are what Joe and Ray said, so we can move along if we'd like here. But yeah, I went with Bloodletting as my top pick. It's funny, you guys are both 7-9, 7-9. I'm here thinking, well, so I just try and point out that I'm the contrarian here who went 9-7, but and who can pronounce Cali Gochis? All right,
Gochis. Oh.
So I actually like Bloodletting. I've got a preference for John Sadler over John Brocklebank. That's actually why I liked it. And the horse was well bet in the debut. I remember when this horse actually broke it or came in and it debuted. back on May the 26th. So that was the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. And there was a little bit of conversation about the horse that day. Kyle Frey has been a surprise and a little bit of a breath of fresh air. So always nice when you get a solid jock that comes in and you're on him before everybody else kind of catches up to that. So, but I'm a big Edwin Maldonado fan as well. So everything that Joe and Ray said about Cal Caligucci's, and as a matter of fact, interesting enough, on my personal pick 4, I'm also going 4 deep in this race because it was a really tough race, and it looks like it's a good betting race. It looks like it's a real solid betting race. So 7-9 for Ray, 7-9 for Joe, 9-7 for Rich. You don't get that much harmony on this show ever.
The 4-1.
All right, and I am back. Like I said, I blitzed it. There's a lot of disharmony over there in the individual pick 4s, but we're moving on to race number 8, and this is 1 mile on the turf course. It's an optional claimer for non-winners of one race, $40,000, a purse of $56,000 plus $16,800 from the Calbred Owners Fund because it pays to be Calbred. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $10,000 other than maiden, claiming, or starter, or which have never won 2 races, or optional claiming price of $40,000. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 12. It's Rye Patch, trained by John Sadler and ridden by Joe Talamo, 5-2 on the morning line. Again, big field, good betting options, and a decent price even on the favorite. The deck is stacked, and it's your deal, Mr. English.
Well, this sequence, even though it's not the highest quality of stakes horses or the horses we've been dealing with, like on Belmont Day or last week at Stephen Foster Day, this was a challenging sequence. And I know Ray can relate to what I'm about to say. Rye Patch being in post 12. Ray remembers the days where we used to handicap Yonkers Raceway, and they would run handicap races, and the horses who were the best horses always got the outside post position because that was the hardest position to win from. I mean, I know this didn't happen. Obviously, that this is not a handicap, and they didn't do this on purpose. But that's kind of how I feel about Rye Patch in this spot. I mean, he's really hard to throw out for me, but given that he's a tactical horse he's got a horse that has tactical speed, and there's kind of a short run in the first turn. There are 3 options that they have with this horse, and I think the best one that they can choose is for them to send right out of the gate and try to clear the field, because otherwise he's going to sit 4 wide around that first turn, and he's going to have to be 2 or 3 lengths better than everybody else in this field in order to win, or they're going to take him back, which is way not normally what he does, and try and win that way. So I would think that they're going to have to try and send, and I don't know. I have a feeling that he may just get tagged late. I went 4 deep in the spot on my personal pick 4. I'll talk about the 2 horses that I like best. Unfortunately, the first one is the horse down on the rail who's going to save the most ground, and that's Crown the Kitten. And yes, I know 0 for his last 13 and 10 seconds in 25 career races. I see Rich has the check mark, so obviously I'm not the only one who thinks this. I mean, I'm thinking getting 6-1 with a horse on the rail who's going to be able to close into a nice pace and be able to save ground with a jockey who knows the horse, Martin Pedrosa, as opposed to taking Rye Patch, who might be in the middle of no man's land out in the 12 hole. I'm thinking Crown the Kitten might be the way to go. Just take the bigger price. I don't know that they're that much different in ability. I like the fact that Sean McCarthy moves back up to $40,000 level after the second at 32. I kind of hope that he knows something. And he's saying, yeah, the horse is really, really doing well. And maybe the difference can be made up by the fact that Rye Patch drew in post 12 and Crown the Kitten drew the rail. The other horse I liked is the number 4. And I can pronounce this, Unapologetic. Bill Spar, obviously a very good trainer. Mike Smith is not up, obviously. TJ Pereira takes the call. He obviously a very serviceable jockey, 13%. The horse has been training well, every 7 days, obviously every 5 days until that work on June 17th. I like the fact that to me, I don't know how Ray or Rich feel in this race. There looks like there's a lot of possible pace in early pace in this spot. And I think that this will set up for a closer, and Crown the Kitten and Unapologetic to me are the 2 best closers in the field. Again, Spar, the horse was claimed for 40,000. He's been running and is still running, protected, despite the fact that he was claimed, 4 starts ago back in November at Del Mar. I think, like I said, I just think this race sets up for the closers, and I think the 1 and the 4 are the 2 best of the lot. I will mention 2 other horses, and I will also tease the fact that I did not include Rye Patch at all, because I kind of think he's going to be a short price, and I kind of think he's going to be up against it from the post position draw. Now, if for some reason, say 2 or 3 of the other horses inside of him scratch, and he's in post 9 or post 10, maybe that opinion changes.
Yep.
So be wary of that. But if the field goes as 12, I think he's kind of marooned. But again, before you actually make your wager, check the scratches, check to see if any of the speed, especially if some of the speed horses inside of him have scratched. And Rye Patch may be able to get the lead a little bit more easily. And maybe if that's the case, we might want to include him in our pick 4 ticket. I want to include him in my personal one, at least as it stands right now. So 1, 4 are the top 2 choices for me. And I will hand it off to my friend in Staten Island, Ray. I'm assuming I didn't check exactly what your pick 4 was. I'm assuming you went Keno balls again.
No, actually not in this race, not yet.
Okay.
I'm still conservative here. I went too deep, using one of your horses. I'm gonna take a chance here. I'm looking for a horse, that could really light up the top board. I did go with number 7, Miner's Light. It's 10-1 on the morning line. This horse actually, I believe, found a new life on the grass in his last race, because the maiden races before that are sprints and, closed a little bit, closed a little bit, closed a little bit. Actually, second to Exaggerate by a nose in the first race at 22-1. So this horse had a little talent, I think. I mean, and I saw this horse close 13 lengths in the Santa Anita, the last race on the turf. Go a distance, of course, 2 turns. I like that. I mean, this horse could actually, bounce back and run well again. Gary Stevens picks up the mount. That's a positive sign. And, he's 24% on the turf. So for this horse to break the bait on the grass like that, and, the paces looked like it was kind of like, I mean, it was decent. I mean, it wasn't, 48-112 is pretty much, okay. But this horse came from way back, so I was very impressed by that. So this downwards of 1 condition fits him perfectly. So he needs to work out a trip for the back, and there should be enough speed here for this horse. So I think he'll try and go back to back here. I mean, I don't bet horses that won the maiden. I give them a little chance to maybe rebound or whatever. But this horse, I don't know, maybe on the turf he's a new horse. So I'll go with him, number 7, Miner's Light. I do like number 4, Unapologetic. I had a nice comeback race after being pulled up in the same conditions. This horse is a versatile horse, depending on the pace. He's been placing in this condition, and 5 out of 10 in the money at the distance. Bill Spar's 28% for the year at the meet. So they're doing good. And Thiago Pereira hops on his 4-year-old gelding. So I'll go with those 2, the 7 and the 4. I'm gonna keep it slim because later on, if I'm alive, I'm just gonna go bombs away. So 7 and 4 for me, Rich.
He's warming up the Keno machine, folks.
I'm warming it up. If I stay alive, there's always pick 3 too if I get knocked out. So that's a good thing about multi-wager. You can always bet doubles and pick 3s and just keep rolling along. All right, Rich.
All right. I agree with a couple of things that I heard come out of both of you. So, Joe, I kind of agree with you. I thought that when you looked here, I thought there was the potential to see quite a few what we like to think of as your classic E-types all over the place in this race. And with Rye Patch being, kind of stuck out there wide, and he only has one way to go. That's the way that horse likes to go. I did feel that even if he could get to the lead, he could be looking at a lot of pressure because there could be 1 or more E-types that are looking at him. Brimstone, I happen to know who's going first on the turf, is actually a very, very quick dirt horse. So I did kind of agree with that. And the track has been playing very fair as far as the turf, the 1 mile turf races here. You're not seeing a huge number that are going wire to wire like sometimes you do see at Santa Anita. You've got 49% going to the E&E products, and you got 50% going to the P's and the late closer. So you guys have already seen it. You alluded to my top pick in this race. I'm going back to the well one more time. I will tell you that I bet on this day. I actually had Crown the Kitten and Martin Pedroza, and he looked like he was in great shape. Martin is a great gate rider. I have never known him to be the best turf rider in the world, and it seemed like he showed it this day. So he got placed fifth due to qualification. He was the one that caused all the problems that day, trying to force his way through a gap that wasn't there. So I was a little surprised to see Sean McCarthy go, there. Would have loved to have seen, as Ray mentioned a little bit, would love to have seen a Gary Smith or Mike or Gary Stevens or a Mike Smith here, but it's not going to happen. So he gives Martin Pedroza another try. It's on the rail, which didn't look like it was a disadvantage here in this race. The horse has got some tactical speed, can stay up there, and it's a turf race. He's a kitten's joy. I know he hasn't won in quite a while, but I'm going back to the well just one more time here. Pedroza and McCarthy are going to take this race. I think they've got the inside on there. You've seen me do this before. I'll take one from the back and one from the front. I think Joe and Ray have something on Unapologetic as well. But if there is a speed horse who I think is going to be able to get up on the front and maybe take it to Rye Patch and hold on and get by him, I'm going to go with Record Highs, who has been very sharp since he came back off the layoff back there in March. That first try was the test try down the hillside turf course, got another one down the hillside turf course and won that one, and then came back and showed a lot of speed there in the 1 mile race. Again, I'm going to take one from the front and one from the back. And if you look there, I think Record Highs could actually really be the one that kind of fouls Rye Patch up. This horse is a 4-year-old gelding, and I think could be equally fast with Rye Patch up there in the front, and it'll kind of take it to him. I decided to go 1-6. It sounds like Joe went 1-4. And Ray is going 7-4.
Yep.
Nice and neat, sir. All right. And I'm going to come on back to you guys. And we are going to move along to race number 9. And this is 6 furlongs. It's a maiden special weight affair. The purse is $54,000 for cow-bred or cow-sired maidens. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, 9 starters. And your morning line favorite is in post number 9. Princess Dorian, trained by Peter Urton and ridden by Edwin Maldonado, comes in as your 3-1 morning line favorite. You had maiden claimers, you had non-winners of 1, and now you get the maiden special weight, Ray. So tonight is a little bit back to the basics. Who do you like in race number 9?
Yeah, this race I had a little trouble, but yeah, you have some horses that are equally talented. The odds really say so. You got 3-1, 4-1, 7-2. So you get some horses here that they race one time and give them a chance. So, well, I'm gonna go with actually number 9, Princess Dorian. She's 3-1. It's a third lifetime start, second in this level. A nice workout on June 16th. Nice workout, 47-1 on June 16th, and 3 out of 35. I think she's gonna get a nice stalking trip here. Peter Urton's good, 22%. Beat the favorite twice, so she's been a money burner. But I'm giving her a chance. Maybe now she'll get the job done with Mr. Maldonado. I do like number 8, Haley Rochelle. This is her first for a second lifetime start. She had good speed to stalk and just missed by half a length first time out. She could definitely improve here. Trainer, I'm gonna I'll give a shot here. Scolomeri, Sam
Scolomeri. He
there
can train.
you go. 20% with maidens, 2 out of 10. So, strong workout, 112-2. That workout could win this race. On June 17th. So I like the horse also, number 8. Number 1, Moonlight Madness, first time out of Papa Clem. I remember Papa Clem. I think he raced in the Santana Derby, I think. Blazing Bullets at Los Alamitos. 46-2. Like, wow. Trainer Brian Corner, 16% for the year. And, Evan Roman, I tell you, he's 22% sprint, 19% over the year. So he's a good jockey. It's funny when all the big jockeys go away, these guys get chances, and they're pretty good. They're competitive, and they get some good mounts. So this is their turn. This is their day to make the money. Number 2, Hope She Will. I'm gonna take a shot here to 12-1, and it's just the horse's second lifetime start. I think this horse had a good trip 3 wide in the debut, just didn't finish. I give it another chance. Could be tighter for this with Tiago Power. The extra 16th might help this horse. So that's my horse today, 9-8-1-2, and this sprint for the fillies. Joe, you have anything else to add here?
Yeah.
No?
Well, I don't
First
really have
one.
anything much to add other than, well, the problem is with a competitive sequence like this, you
Mhm.
have to draw the line somewhere unless you have
Yeah.
an endless budget and just say, oh yeah, I'll just take everybody who I like and
Mhm.
go Keno, and if the pick four doesn't pay over $250, you're pretty much you're pretty much going to lose. So I had a single here. This is the one I singled with the 8.
Hmm.
Haley Rochelle. I had a chance to watch the race she came out of. She finished the best of any of the horses who ran in that race. She finished second. And Scolamary can train, as Rich alluded to. He's over the past 5 years. He doesn't have a lot of starters, but he was in the 150 range. But he's still 13%. So don't think that don't think that 0 for 6 or the 1 for 12 for 2017. Don't let that fool you. He can actually do. I mean, and even through Formulator, I saw that he was 3 for 22 with maiden claimers, and generally the horses that he won with, he had one long shot, but the other two were 2-1, 240-1, or 220-1. So I will like this horse a lot more if I can see she gets bet, and I see that. Brian Pena, who actually won a couple of races when Rich and I were there last at Santa Anita, 2 of the 5 that he's wanted to meet. So I actually kind of like him on speed horses as opposed to closers. And she's going to be, she's going to be up close to the pace. Don't necessarily like 5-year-old second-time starters in maiden races, but unfortunately, you're getting you got a bunch of first timers, and then horses who've run maybe once, who you don't necessarily know. I mean, it's like Coalinga Hills. It's like, okay, the horse last ran in January of 2016, but if the horse is going to be a closer in this 6 furlong race, closers don't necessarily do well at Santa Anita going 6 furlongs. So basically, I'm trying to find the best of the speed, and Haley Rochelle, to me, looks like the best of the speed in this spot. And again, like I said, I had to choose somewhere to single, so I decided to go with this 5-year-old maiden mare. Not often you say that, but 4-1 in the morning line. If I get 4-1, that would be great. My guess is she might get bet a little bit, maybe down to about 3-1, 7-2. But either way, that's an acceptable price. And if I can get a single home at 7-2 and go 4 deep in the other 3 races, I like my chances. Even though the other 3 races are still competitive, and I could just as easily be out before we even get to Haley Rochelle in race 9. So Haley Rochelle on top for me in race 9 for Brian Pena and Sam Scolamary. Record this because chances are it won't be said on this show again. Anyway, Rich, what I didn't see your check mark, to be honest with you. So where did you go in race 9?
And it must not have stayed on the page, or I had a couple of little failures before when my computer crapped out on me as I was getting ready to sit in there and things like that. But and my sentiments are actually very similar to what Joe. I'm looking for my single here. I'm still trying to whittle it down to a single here. Princess Dorian was going to be it. Now, I will tell you that I have got the 8 and the 9 on my top line right now. I've only used 2 in the top 2 races. I've got 4 in the first race. I've got 2 in each of the other 2 races right now. So this is probably the race where I'm looking for my single. And I was torn. A lot of the stuff that Joe brought up, especially when you get down here and you look at these stats, 38% of these are going wire to wire. This is a race that's looking at having about 81% of the time get to the lead, get to the front. That's who wins the race. But Princess Dorian has that kind of speed as well. So this is Peter Urton, Edwin Maldonado. Although they pair ice cold, they're 0 for 8 together as a tandem there. And the horse started out at the maiden claiming ranks and then moved up to maiden special weight. Has got 2 seconds. That's not always the most encouraging sign for a single. This course, I don't want to say it has seconditis. I don't want to mention that quickly on them. But a horse that starts out at maiden 50 and then moves up, and then I'm not always confident that that's the best move for him. Nice workout there on June the 16th. So the horse has got some quicks, and again has one of the better gate riders here at Santa Anita. Has got the outside post. And even though Scolomeri can train and Brian Pena can ride and like that, I thought that maybe this was a case of going with the connections. So I was leaning towards the 9 over the 8, but I have them both on my top line at this point in time. And I believe that Joe singled with just the 8. He just has Haley Rochelle, and Ray started to fire up a little bit of the Keener machine there. He's got the 9 on top, as do I. And then he has the 8, the 1, and the 2. He has all 3 of those on his top line. And I just wanted to mention for a moment, because he did mention the 1. This would be a hard toss for me at this point in time. Brian Corner, not the best rate with first-time starters. This is a Papa Clem. Evan Roman, if I told you, who's the number 4 jockey at this spring meet? And that's the answer to that trivia question right now, is that it's Evan Roman. So behind the Rafael Bejaranos and the Joe Talamos of our track here and things like that sits the young apprentice. All right, come on back to you guys. All right. And we are going to move on into the finale. This is race number 10. It is 6.5 furlongs. They're coming down the hill. It's on the turf. Starter allowance race purse is $30,000 plus $3,600 from the Cowbred Owner Fund. Downhill turf for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $40,000 or less, or Cowbred or sired horses, which have started for a claiming price of $50,000 or less, and which have never won 2 races. You have 13 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 12. Sir Samson, trained by Brian Cornor and ridden by Tiago Pereira, is a tasty 3-1 on the Santa Anita morning line. Joe, Ray got the maidens, and you got the winners. Who do you like in the finale?
I went chalk eating weasel here. Well, I mean, I get again, if I'm still alive, I'm going to be 4 deep on this in this race anyway. I like Sir Samson's last race, like Ray mentioned with the horse in the other turf race, Miners. Can't remember the Miners something.
Miners Light.
Miners Light.
Miners Light. Okay. Maybe this horse found something on the turf. I think the horse actually ran a better race than looked. The pace was pretty quick in that spot. Of course, pretty much they were all quick down the turf. And the horse was competitive at a higher class level. And that usually works well for me. The horse drew outside again. 5-year-old gelding, it's hard to take low odds, but these races are so competitive. And see, I'm not the only one who likes Sir Samson today. Brian Corner obviously is having a solid second half to the Santa Anita winter meet, because I guess they say it's 2 different meets between the December to April meet, and then from April to now, actually through till July 4th. So, I mean, 4 for 19, good percentage. He trains down at Los Al. Again, the horse ran well the first time down the hill, at least decent enough to hope that if the horse can move forward, the horse has a chance to win in this spot. He is a tepid 3-1 favorite, which is why I can't necessarily single here. The other horse I went with the other likely horse to take money, who also ran really well first time down the hill and broke his maiden, is the 5, All About Mike. For the, well, I don't know. Is there anything you could say that's really like above red hot? Is it like Vegas hot? Pete Miller, is that about as close to Palm Springs hot? Is that, I don't even know. I don't know where you get. I mean, it was 122 in Palm Springs the other day, and that's about as hot as Pete Miller's been. 28%. He's 31% over the last 30 days. Maldonado stays on this horse, and I don't necessarily see any world beaters in here. The only thing I worry about this horse is that there may be other speed, and Maldonado may have to rate try to rate a little bit. I don't think he's going to be able to get a clear lead and be able to go gate to wire in this spot. But again, given that Pete Miller is as hot as he is, I wouldn't put anything past anything that he sends out. Basically, if he's in the race, you have to account for it, whether the horse looks like he's a hopeless long shot or not. But this horse does not look like a hopeless long shot to me. Again, first time over the turf course, ran really well. And if the horse improves, hey, why not? For me, the top line is 12-5. And again, when we do our own personal pick fours, I have 2 more horses that I will include and talk a little bit more about later at that time. So 12-5 for me on the top line in the finale. Ray?
Yeah, this race, I went 4 deep. I'll talk about a few of them for now. I do like number 2, Rainbow Squall. This horse is third in the hill, two races back. Steady is favorite. Good shot with Evan Roman. He's the bug. He's a hot jockey. Um, I'm not even trying to pronounce the trainer. George P. I call him. Okay.
Oh, this one's easy. Papa Padromu.
Ah, Papa Joe. Okay. All right,
It's
George
easy. It's easy
Papa.
compared to Cal, whatever it was.
He drops in class for the minor stake race, 6 to 12 in the money. He shows up often, so he should run well. Do you like number 4, Chief Haas, 6 to 1? Solid speed here. Hopes to rate. Maybe in the comfortable fractions. Maybe can hang on here. They fly down the hill, so you see some fast fractions. Second time this condition, fourth by 2 after leading this. So he might get a little more lighter pace so they could hang on. Santiago Gonzalez. I do like your horse number 5, Joe. All about Mike. He's winning the course. Yeah, Pete Miller's hot and blazing. He's just there's some big numbers on his next to his name there. So 64 wins, no joke. Edwin Maldonado's still there. The good jockeys, but everybody's away. So and they've been running bullets at the center, at the St. Louis Race Center. So it's been working out well. For now, those are my horses. 2, 4, 5. I got another horse to talk about later on. So that's it for me. 2, 4, 5 in the finale. Right, Rich. Down the hill.
Down the hill they
Left turn,
come.
right turn on the dirt. It's a beautiful race. I love it.
And in my best rotundo voice,
Hello?
I will tell you that it is a great advantage to have an outside post if you are a speed horse in a 6.5 furlong turf race at Santa Anita Racetrack, because that's exactly what Sir Sampson has. For Brian Corner and Tiago Pereira, and I gave you the surprise stat about Evan Roman that he is the fourth number. He is number 4 in the jockey standings currently at Santa Anita, and it might surprise you to know that number 5 in the jockey standings at Santa Anita for this spring meet that Joe was alluding to is, yes, indeed, Tiago Pereira. So he is a very good jockey, and again, Sir Sampson has that outside post. He's only had one trip down the hill so far. He did show speed in there. He was on the lead and kind of faded down at the end. He had a little bit of a steady in that race, so you say the race caller did catch that. So I was thinking that without trouble, with the outside post, with Tiago Pereira, that this is his day, and that Sir Sampson belonged on my top line. For those of you who have the money and that you've heard Joe and Ray allude to some of the other horses like that, if you can, this looks like a very good betting race, and it looks like one of those ones that you might want to try and maybe save a few ducats and try and go a little bit deeper. I saw that Joe, our little combination here, Ron Ellis and Joe Talamo, dad and son-in-law, have got a first-time starter on the turf that's here, and that's by Tail of the Cat. And Ron Ellis does do 12%, first on the grass. The horse is off a little bit of a layoff there since back in October, but I thought this would be an opportunity for Ron Ellis to tell us another story when he broke us out of the pick 4 when we didn't bet his horse. There's a lot of speed in this race. So there's a lot of good options. I'm only going to put it in the 12 as far as the purposes of this show. But I would tell you on my own pick 4, my own personal pick 4, I'm probably planning on singling in one of the earlier races and going as deep as I need to go in this particular race. But for me, it's just the 12. For Joe, it's the 12 and the 5. And for Ray, I believe Ray has got the 2, the 4, and the 5. All right. And Ray, just so you know, I love this horse, the Rainbow Squall that you picked as well. That's a really good horse. All right, here we go. Coming on back, and I am going to turn this segment while I go away. I'm going to pop off, and I will put together our pick 4 ticket for the 3 broke guys. And I am going to turn this segment over to Ray and Joe, who have been nice enough these last few weeks, and they have been putting together their own individual pick 4 tickets. You've heard us talking about that the whole time we've been going here. And they are going to take you through their own individual pick 4 tickets. And Ray, you're going to be up first as soon as I can navigate through my window here and bring you up to the nice multicolored screen. And there we go. And you can see their stats for the year as they've been doing so far. And go ahead, Ray, take it away.
All right, in my pick four in the first leg, I went too deep here, like the 7 and 9. I think we all agree on the 7 and 9. Cow, little goldches, and bloodletting. Those two we agreed on, so I think we're done with that one. So you can just put the 7-9 Rich in the first leg. Um, Second leg, this nice turf race here. I went with 7-4. I'm taking a chance with this the horse that broke the maiden minus light on the grass, and see what made his horse run back to back good races. We got apologetic also trying to cut down the speed. 7-4 for me. Went a little light. Hope I survive. And then I started opening up here. Leg number three. You got this main race. A few horses here coming second, third time starter. Princess Dorian was likely the favorite. I see that this year a single for you guys with the Haley Rachel, and I included her and Moonlight Madness. I'm taking a shot with Hope she will. I hope she wins. That's a big price. That's what I like to do in these pick fours. At least include one, two big horses. Hope they win. They usually don't. The favorite comes in, but you throw them in, take a chance, and hope they come out. And my last leg here, I want to add the number 10 horse, Tyler's Tech. Besides my 245 with Rainbow Squall, Chief Horse, and All About Mike, I added Tyler's Tech because I like just shipper from Turf Paradise. Like you guys say, the strange face for a different place. Maybe a live horse here for the drop off. And this horse won a 30,000 maiden claiming comfortably from off the pace. So first time Mike Chambers, he got a good percentage, 30% shipping. So I included this horse, Tyler's Tech number 10. I might even include number 12. I like for what you guys are saying for about number 12. I wrote him down here for my ticket that I might play, tomorrow. So, but right now, 2, 4, 5, 10 for me. So 7-9 with the 7-4 with the 9-8-1-2 with the 2, 4, 5, 10 $32 ticket for me. All right, Joe. I see we're spending the same amount of money. No
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, but I found a single. Well, I think I found a single that I hope will get
We don't
home.
get no
Haley
change here.
Rochelle. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just thought that this sequence is challenging and could pay a pretty penny. Like I said, we talked about the 7 and the 9 in the first leg. I also, it's hard not to include Sunset Grill. The horse has shown speed against better. The horse is dropping, and I just don't know what kind of horse we're going to get. I wouldn't want to take the horse playing like on the win end as a short price favorite, but I don't think the horse has shown enough speed, and cutting back from 6.5 furlongs to 5 furlongs. The horse has shown speed against better. The old Matt Carruthers speed and Fandangle. So I don't know you can safely eliminate the 8. You have to at least account for he's the only one who's at least approached the buyer par in any of his lifetime races. And I actually included the 10 also, My Boy Rudy, and it has nothing to do with the Notre Dame story or the movie with what was that kid's name? I can't remember who the actor was. But I just like I like, Mark Glack had a horse bet that paid $91 in the first race today. So obviously his barn's doing fairly well. And Tanner's Pride was a horse that Rich and I saw a couple of weeks ago in the repeat win from the race that My Boy Rudy comes out of. And to be honest, I don't see Joe Talmo riding a lot of maiden 20s. So I'm assuming Joe's here for a reason, and maybe this horse has a little bit of life. Decent work on June 12th at 47 and change. Maybe he'll show a little bit more speed in his second time out, and maybe the barn will carry this one home. To me, 5-1 seems a little low, and maybe there's a reason for that. I'm not exactly sure what that would be, but maybe it's because of the Joe Talmo and Mark Glatt connections that horse would be bet as low as 5-1. But again, I think the horse has a chance to improve for some decent connections and for a decent barn. In race 8, I added to the 1 and the 4. I did like the horse that Ray and Rich had mentioned, Miner's Light, and for a lot of the same reasons Ray mentioned. Carly Gaines, first time on the turf, the horse seemed to show really well. And Gary Stevens is riding 20. Obviously it's my stats say 24%. And he doesn't get, again, he's very, at his age, he's kind of choosy about what he gets on, which is kind of why I like Ray's choice of the 10 in the finale, because Stevens is on the Mike Chambers horse. Carly Gaines, and Gary Stevens, they know what they're doing, and the horse did show some life first time on the new surface. Is going to need help with the speed, because obviously he's a dead closer. At least it looked like from the last time out he's a dead closer, because he's cutting back from 9 furlongs to 8. So I liked him a little bit, and I also liked the 10 At Ease for Hector Palma. Another closer who's been running against state breds, but who's in good form and has 2 wins over the Santa Anita turf course, which I'm not sure I can even look to see that anybody else in this race has 2 wins over the Santa Anita turf course. And as I'm perusing my PPs now, Rypatch doesn't even have 2. He's the only, At Ease is the only horse who has 2 wins over the Santa Anita turf course. Again, you're going to get a decent price with Hector Palmer and Brian Pena. Not well-known connections. I mean, if you are a SoCal native, you know who they are. But you'll get decent prices on them. Again, another outside post, but a horse who can close into some fast fractions if it sets up that way. In race 9, I like Haley Rochelle, and I don't need to go into any further detail as to why. I talked about that in the show already. The 12 and the 5 were my top choices in the finale, but I also like the 9 Sahara Storm, who's dropping out of an open 40 claimer where the horse actually ran pretty well down the hill, showed some speed. Keith DeSormo can train. Obviously, we know that. We've seen what he's done in the Triple Crown. And Stuart Elliott stays aboard. Another horse who's a decent, again, this is a very difficult race, but a horse who's dropping out of open claimers into the starter allowance 40,000 condition. So obviously he's getting a little bit of class relief today. And the other horse I like a little bit, who's a really long price, is a horse I actually fiddled with the last time this horse ran. That's the 11 Giro Candido. Mullins Barn is 41% at this meet, 7 for 17. So the horse is hot, and I like the cutback. The horse showed speed in that original race, again, for open 50 claimers. The horse faded after that, but horses generally that show speed and cutback are really good bets coming down the hill. Not a huge fan of Chantal Sutherland as a rider, but again, her stats show 13%. So obviously she knows what she's doing. And another horse who's got an outside post. And this horse is 15-1 on the morning line. So this is one of the bombs that Ray was talking about earlier. So I went 4 by 4 by single by 4. Again, I'm hoping to get alive to the point where Haley Rochelle matters. This, again, very tough sequence, not the 1 to 5s McCrackens and 1 to 5 gun runners that we've seen before. So a very challenging sequence. I think you have to go deep. And honestly, if I could have gone deeper in leg 3, I probably would have. But again, very tough sequence. I just hope to be alive to the point where the single in leg 3 matters. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 4, 7, 10. The 8 as the single in leg 3, and then 5, 9, 11, and 12 in the finale of a difficult pick 4 sequence. Rich?
Yeah, I agreed. As I was looking through the card, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh, boy, we're not in Kansas anymore. So, all right. Here we go. I am going to go ahead and bring up our pick 4. So this is our consensus pick, or our group pick 4 for the time. And we'll see if we've got any modifications for that. And in our leg number 1, can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So leg number 1, one of the very few times we've just got 7-9, and that's across all 3 boxes. All 3 of us had those on top. The only conflict there was that I had the 9 in front of the 7, and you guys had the 7 in front of the 9. In leg number 2, we've got the 1, and the 1 appears on both Joe and me. Rich, that's our top line. And the 4 is on Ray and Joe's top line. And the 7 is Ray. I believe the 7 was your top pick.
Yeah.
All right. On to leg number 3. And in leg number 3, as you heard there, Joe's got a real strong consensus on the 8. Unfortunately, me and Ray have both got the 9 as our top pick. So we're going to go 8-9 in that leg.
Mhm.
And in the finale, again, Joe kind of covered it there and left out a real tough finale potential there. I believe the 2 is Ray's top pick is the 2. The 5 appears on both Ray and Joe's top line. And the 12 appears on both mine and Joe's top line.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I make a comment right away?
Go for it.
Just off the top. Last time we did this, we decided to make an alteration to our ticket, and not that we would have won anyway, but at least we would have been alive to the last leg.
Yeah, sure.
And at this point, I'm almost saying, you know what? And I've as a gambler and as a horse player, my first instinct is usually my best. So, just me saying, I think we need to. We should just stick with it as it is.
I want to add a horse. Somebody we both talked about.
Fire
In
away.
the last leg. The 10.
In the last leg.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I mentioned him, but he's not. I didn't include him on my ticket. Obviously, I didn't have room.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, he would be my 5th choice. If I was going to add horses, I would add more. I would add other horses before him.
Oh, okay.
Again, he's not. I'm not saying he would be a bad ad, but I have other horses that I would add before I would add. Now, what's he on the morning line? Might I ask?
10.
10. Okay, and that would, let's just say, so it end up being 3 by 2 by 4, so it'd basically be 24.
Mhm.
I'm not against it, but if I like I said, if we were going to add, I would add different horses. I don't know. What do you think, Rich?
Well, I was going to say, then how about the 4? Because Ray actually had the 4 on his top line. You had 2, 4, 5.
Yeah. Right,
And then Joe had 12, 5, and 12. And I'm sorry, Ray. And like I said, I wasn't sure.
The only one had the 4?
I didn't have the 4 on my top line either in the last line.
Right.
No, Joe didn't have that. That's what I was saying. Is so you would add Ray, put the 4 in because you kind of had that higher, and it sounds like Joe, you've got other horses that you would put in that would be higher.
Right.
And
absolutely.
at that point in time, again, I kind of agree with you about the idea of, let's just stick with our gut instinct here. If we had a real strong single, and again, I was almost sold on that explanation of Haley Rochelle. I'll tell you that. Then I would think that we could bomb away in another race. And who knows? By tomorrow, I might be leaning back more towards speed, depending on what we see at the track, and how it plays out with 91 degrees and all that. If speed is holding, then maybe Haley Rochelle is the right pick. But I was actually leaning towards my individual ticket. It might have a single on there, and I might single on the 9. Just for everybody who's watching like that, the 3 broke guys don't always win together.
Yeah, so that's why I'm almost like you said, Rich. I'm kind of like let's stick with it as it is, and come what I mean. Again, be like you said. Nobody. I mean, like I said, I like the 8, but the problem is I had to single somewhere. It's not the strongest single I've ever come up with on any show or anywhere else for that matter. So, but I had to single at some point. I couldn't just keep going 5 by 5 by 5 and make the $50 budget. It just wasn't going to work.
Oh, Songberg hit this week.
No. All right.
No, so but if Collected was in it, I'm sure he would be.
That would have been exactly. Either him or Battle of Midway would have made an easy single here. So, all right. So we're going.
They picked him out of pick 6 also, I think.
No, they're both in.
They're in the pick 6.
The race
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
they
10.
love doing that.
Race 5 is the race. Actually, is it race 5 or race 6? I think it's race 6. That's the precisionist.
You know who started taking these big statements out of the sequences? The NYRA, okay? They started doing this, and everybody followed.
All right. Well, Joe is correct.
Screw us.
It's the 6th race that's got the 6th.
Yeah.
I think
NYRA started this.
Affirmed, I think, is race 4.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so.
Maybe. So 1 in the pick 5 and 1 in the pick 6. At least they didn't put them both in the pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And make it well, I don't want to say easy, but easy. How about easier? Can
Easier.
I use that word?
All right, so we're gonna go 7-9 with 1-4-7 with 8-9 with 2-5-12. That's a total of an $18 bet. That's actually a very manageable pick four.
Mhm.
And this, like I said, this one could pay. I mean, I think whatever you do, I think it's going to pay nicely, because I don't think you're going to see four favorites winning. Right. And even if you do, four favorites here could probably pay you $1.50, because I don't think anybody's other than maybe Rye Patch, who may drift down to, say, I'm thinking about 7 or 8 to 5. Other than that, I don't see any real standout low price favorites. So I think even if the favorites all win, you'd still make a pretty healthy profit if you just wanted to single all the favorites.
All right. Got anything else you wanted to add before we say goodnight to folks?
Del Mar in 3 weeks, Saratoga in 4. Yeah. Actually, Saratoga starts on a Friday. I think it starts the Friday after Del Mar, which starts on a Wednesday. So I think it's about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks from today. And I'm planning on trying to get to Del Mar on opening day. I'm going to see what I can do about doing some makeup time at my office so that I can leave at noon on Wednesday, the 19th. So I can make
Sounds good
for the day. So
you have a doctor's appointment, Joe, that day.
No. No. The good thing about my office is I don't even have to tell them why. I'm just saying I need to do makeup time. I need that afternoon off. They don't even ask why.
That's great.
Sounds good.
I'll see what I can do. All
and
right.
you'll see a manager right behind you in the betting line.
All right.
Hey, if she wants, we can carpool. I don't care.
Okay. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed our show, we will be back next week, because that's what the three broke guys do. We're going to get together to take a look at another exciting card, and I'm speaking for the three of us, but I believe we're going to be heading back to Florida, and we're going to be checking out the stakes packed card that's going on at Gulfstream Park next week. So,
oh, really? Okay.
All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, it is.
For Joe more than we do all the rest of the week.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night.
Buenas noches.
Hit it.